Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Loch Valley Farm. As you can see, we're just out spreading a little bit of gypsum at the moment. Trying to get through this. We got, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 millimeters of rain at the end of the week again. So, sort of speaking of rain, the old man sort of thinks he's keen to go seeding some vetch at the moment. I'm definitely not as enthused as him, but he seems to think that with the rain we had last week, and if we could land another 10 mil, that something might start growing. But anyway, we're just trying to rip through this and get this done for a start, because a bit of rain on this will settle it in nicely at the end of the week. Now, we did spread a bit of gypsum last year and I did talk about why we do it, but for anyone who's new or is wondering why, generally gypsum is a really good soil conditioner, but it also has a good sulfur content. So at the moment we're spreading this stuff on barley stubbles, which is going to have most our legumes growing this year, so our beans and our vetch, and they really love that sulfur. So we're not really going so much for the soil conditioning this year, it's more so for a bit of extra sulfur content in the soil, and that's sort of the reason that we're putting it out. But we got about one more fill left in this paddock, I reckon, and then we're on to the next, so we'll get her done. Alrighty, so I'm about done there on the spreader for the day. I think Dad's going to take over now for a while, which will be good. Not really any point in both of us being around. If we were doing lime, it makes more sense because you're going at a lot higher rate, but gypsum, we're only going at sort of, a bit over a tonne to the hectare, fairly light, so no point in both of us being there, which is good because I can be freed up to go and do some other things now. But plus, I'm just about done bouncing around in the cab of that tractor at the moment, so now I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but there is a lot of smoke out there today, people burning off. And you might have actually been able to see that in my drone footage at the start of the video. Also had the neighbours next to us prickle chaining their vetch stubble. The problem with the vetch stubble is, like, we're gonna have to probably go and prickle chain ours or do something with it as well, because yeah, it just lays like a mat over the ground, and then your cedar comes through and the tines it all just wraps up around the tines and makes a horrible mess and makes the job very, very hard. So they've been the whole time I was up there spreading, they were prickle chaining their paddocks. So anyway, keeps you company, that's for sure. Ha 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 ha, yeah. How's about that? What's going on? What are you munching? That looks pretty good.
Long weekend. You asked Daddy if he's going to take a day off. Are you going to take a day off?
Yeah, over the weekend. I'm going to set you up an Easter egg hunt. You want to do an Easter egg hunt on the weekend? Oh my goodness. You're going to love that. Yeah.
I think she really even knows what it is. Oh, we better go to Little Jimmy's tomorrow. There might be one there.
I'm going to do I like it too.
But what have you got to do? You got to. If you have chalky eggs, what do you got to do? Yes. So why didn't I just wheel the tractor around to the fuel tanks and put it straight in there? Well, because our diesel storage is in the Stone Ages, and unfortunately they're mainly gravity fed tanks, and so they don't reach to that fuel tank right there. So if anyone was going to say anything, Now I've taken that away from you. So I do actually have a handy dandy little code on here to unlock this steering to SF3. So I'm going to try and do that now. I haven't done it before, but we're going to learn together. So let's just have a crack and see how we go. There's nothing there. Applications. It says to go to the receiver. There we go. Now what do you do? I'll just press here. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Activation code. Rightio. I have to punch that bad boy in there. Wow, that was almost too easy, I reckon. SF3 subscription, yes, enabled. Rightio. That was almost a little bit too easy. I was expecting a challenge then, but I'll take it. So about the only thing left on here, literally the last thing to do on this would be to take it out into the paddock, fold the bar down and just check that all the measurements and everything I've put into the steering are correct and that it's going to leave even spaces and that past the pass, and just do any tuning that it needs that way, and maybe just cleaning some windows. But other than that, did I say that right? Oh, I don't know. Anyway. Other than that, yeah, we could crack into seeding whenever we want, really, which is pretty good. Looks like he's just about got rid of that pile, maybe one more fill there, so he's moved along pretty well, made good ground. Well, I wasn't intending on jumping back in the spreader, but Dad's got to go back and feed all the sheep in the feedlot at the moment, so I said, well, you might as well go do that and I'll assume my position in the glass castle. Alright, let's get out of here. Daylight savings finished on the weekend and it's getting dark so early now. I'm just not used to this. Alright, good morning guys. First things first this morning, we got to shift the spreader and get shifted over to the next pile of gypsum. Thing's been an absolute pain. I'm pretty sure that the stuff on here is Imperial, isn't it? Really need some Loctite on these. Put that way a bit. Yeah.
Electric one and the Imperial one.
It'll come loose in 2 fills. That door strut's almost too strong now. I'm not sure how far we're going to get this morning with spreading because the wind is picking up quite a bit at the moment, and that gypsum, it does not like any wind whatsoever. It's just very fine and powdery and it blows away very easily. Empty out what's in the spreader while we wait for the loader to come down. Honestly, the wind is not really that good at the moment, so I don't know how much longer we should continue, but we need to get this loader home because Dad's got feed to mix for the sheep and we got a load of barley that needs to go out tomorrow, so we need to drag the old chassis bin in. And anyway, it's not forecast to be that windy today, but it just seems to be in the mornings we seem to get a bit of breeze, so I don't know, hopefully it backs off soon and we can just get this done. Alrighty, so the bottom part of this paddock is done. I've got to move up to the top half now. There's about, I don't know, only 15 hectares to go up there, I think, but that's all the gypsum to spread at home this year all done. So we've still got a bit of lime, but there is one pile of gypsum out of Belaley North too. So here's a little crossing that the old man just built with the loader. Make it a bit quicker for me. Well, that was the last fill, and I've only got about 4 hectares to go, so it's worked out really, really well. Knock these last few off and get out of here, job done. Well, there we have it, all done. And I am all done bouncing around in this tractor, my goodness. Gypsum at home complete. And speaking of home, Let's go home and have some lunch, I think. Hello, what's been going on up here? Hello. What are you two up to? No good, no doubt. What do you got there? You got a bit of yard bird. You having some yard bird for lunch? Well, I'm gonna go teach myself how to use Greenstar right now. This should be interesting. But from what I'm told, it's really easy to use. So I'm gonna go up in the paddock, I'm gonna set a boundary up or something, some AB lines, and we're gonna fold this down, stick it in the ground and see if everything looks good, and it's gonna do what it needs to do and just make any adjustments that I need to from there. So what's the date today? I think it's like the 5th of April, but there's already been people seeding around our area, so there's definitely some blokes jumping into it. Just got the mentality that, well, there's not a lot of rain on the forecast, but it's not going to grow in the bin, is it? So you get it in and you do manage to jag enough, then, you know, at least you've got something in the ground. So yeah, it's sneaking up on us real quick. So I've set all my AB lines around this paddock. I haven't done a boundary around the paddock because I didn't know if I could do a boundary at the same time that I was going through doing all my AB lines. But anyway, I'm steering at the moment, so that's good news. I guess all I really want to do right now is stick this bar in the ground and check to make sure our geometry is right and see how that side of it's going. Well, let's see what she does. So this one here is between each pass, and I can see straight away from looking, even though I'm an idiot who didn't bring a ruler or anything with me, that gap's a little bit too big. So I'll do another run on the other side and see what that looks like and just see how we got to adjust it from there. This is honestly tedious. I've never had any luck doing this. It always seems to be as hard as it can possibly be. And the problem is it's always hard. It always makes it harder because these things, they track a bit through the ground. They don't necessarily stay in a direct line behind the tractor. The ground's dry, so it's terrible conditions. It's going to follow the path of least resistance as it's going through the ground. Like I said, it's never easy. So that one there is the run we've just done, and it doesn't actually look too bad. This is a job that does not please me. I do not enjoy doing this, trying to set these things up. And I've learned my lesson the hard way trying to do it before without sticking the bar in the ground and digging the ground, because you can actually set it up really nicely and then you go out and you try with it when you're actually seeding and it's doing a horrible job. So it's got to go in the ground. Alrighty guys, so I think I'm pretty well there. This one here looks pretty good. Maybe slightly wide, but we're going to be seeding sheep feed to start with anyway, so we're going to have plenty of time to tune this a bit more. This side here, when I come back the other way, it's maybe a touch close. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up in this light. It doesn't look too bad. You can see that it kind of gets wider as I go along, and it's very hard to get it exact because, like I said, the bar's trying to track around in the dirt, following probably the path of least resistance to a degree. And you're just gonna struggle to get it exactly right, but I can't get it much better than that at the moment, I don't think, so we're just gonna leave it at that. I've had enough of being out here. It always seems way harder than it needs to be doing this stuff, but getting it done. Nothing left to do now but punch in some seed. Bring on the rain, baby. This thing is honestly like a Rolls Royce compared to the old 83 10T. Imagine what the new ones are like. They actually have cab suspension and all that sort of thing. Now that's moving up into a whole new league. Rightio guys, that's all I've got for you for this episode. Got to admit, the Greenstar system seems to be pretty easy to use. Just going to be a bit of fine tuning there unfortunately still, but we'll get there, we'll get it right. Yeah, thanks again for watching. Take it easy, have a good one. See you next time.